Back in the early 2000s, no one in the music video game was touching Hype Williams. His visuals weren't just flashy, they were straight-up masterpieces. Bright, wild colors, wild camera tricks, and a fantasy vibe that made artists like Jay-Z, Missy Elliott, Will Smith, and Busta Rhymes look like superheroes on screen. People even called him the Michelangelo of hip-hop's golden era, but everything changed after the heartbreaking loss of Aaliyah. After that, the man who shaped an entire generation's visual style suddenly went quiet. Real quiet. Harold Hype Williams started out tagging walls in Queens before flipping his love for art into a whole filmmaking career. Dude wasn't about the rules. He liked working in silence, letting his visuals speak for him. And they did. Every frame felt like a painting made for millions. But then came August 2001, a turning point. Aaliyah was down in Miami filming her video for Rock the Boat, with Hype behind the lens, of course. They were supposed to wrap things up with a final shoot in the Bahamas. Dame Dash, who was dating Aaliyah at the time, told Entertainment Tonight that he flew to Miami and straight up warned her not to go. He allegedly had a bad feeling and thought Hype might try to squeeze in more scenes than planned. Dame said Aaliyah wasn't feeling the plane either. As soon as she saw it, she got that uneasy vibe. She was scared of flying in general, but still she pushed through. She wanted to finish the project. That says a lot about her dedication. Once in the Bahamas, Aaliyah was glowing. The blue Caribbean water behind her, she looked like she was in her element. Hype later told MTV those 4 days were some of the most powerful moments he'd ever had in the business. He even said, "The last day, Saturday, was one of the best I've ever had in this business." Everyone on set felt like they were part of something bigger, like history in the making. But just hours after wrapping, tragedy struck. On August 25th, 2001, Aaliyah's plane went down shortly after takeoff. She was only 22. 8 others also lost their lives. Her hairstylist, bodyguard, a record executive, even the pilot. People magazine reported that 6 passed instantly, while the remaining 3 didn't survive their injuries. Later on, toxicology reports showed that the pilot had both alcohol and illegal substances in his system.
What I was really more tight about was that I had heard that Lenny Kravitz had offered her a jet and that Hype had took the jet. So that's what really pissed me off about the situation when I heard about that. So you could ask Hype about that.
That's what I said. Have you ever talked to Hype about it?
Yeah.
And how'd that conversation go?
Ask him.
But instead of pointing fingers at that alone, fans couldn't help but notice Hype's silence. He said nothing. Aaliyah's family ended up suing Virgin Records, Black Hawk Airways, and Hype Williams, accusing them of negligence. The case didn't go to trial, it got settled behind closed doors. Still, Hype never addressed any of it publicly. He stayed in the shadows. The video got released. But after that, Hype slowly faded from the spotlight he helped build. He didn't vanish completely, but the fire slowed way down. No more dominating the video charts. No more game-changing visuals on every screen. In 2006, he did get the Video Vanguard Award at the MTV VMAs. Missy Elliott, Kanye, and Busta handed it to him. Huge names he'd helped shine. But by that point, Hype was already a ghost in his own legacy. To really understand what happened to him after Aaliyah's passing, we gotta look deeper than just the headline. There's more hiding under the surface. Top-tier creatives often walk a tightrope between brilliance and breakdown, and Hype Williams was no exception. The man was a true visionary, obsessed with perfection, yet fiercely private. He stayed far from the fast-paced city life, choosing instead to chill with his dogs or his partner. Rarely did he give interviews. He even admitted once, "I don't like thinking about the right thing to say." That's deep. He preferred to speak through visuals, loud, bold, unforgettable visuals. Psychologists might call that avoidance. According to the Journal of Clinical Psychology, avoidance coping is common among people with high anxiety. It's a way to dodge emotional stress or tough confrontations. And for someone like Hype, Aaliyah's tragic death might have been way too heavy to deal with out in the open. Even if he wasn't to blame, the guilt alone could have been crushing. There's also something called survivor's guilt, when someone lives through trauma that others don't, and it messes with your mind. Folks dealing with it often pull away from the world, stop working as much, or just go emotionally numb. It's like their soul hits pause. So yeah, people pointed fingers at Hype. Some blamed him for being the one calling the shots on Aaliyah's final video shoot. And if Dame Dash was right about Hype taking a better plane and leaving the smaller, sketchier one for Aaliyah, that guilt would have gone nuclear. And guilt like that, if it ain't faced head on, it eats you up from the inside. Then there's the weight of legacy. Hype didn't just make videos, he created dreams. He made artists look superhuman. But when real life crashes in, when someone young and beloved dies on your watch, that dream world shatters. How do you go back to filming fun, vibrant stuff when your last set turned into a farewell? He tried to step back into the spotlight in 2010 with Kanye West's All of the Lights video. But instead of praise, controversy followed. Critics slammed Hype for allegedly biting the whole title sequence from Gaspar Noé's 2009 film Enter the Void. And Gaspar didn't hold back. He told the Daily Beast, "I was more shocked by the fact that the guy who copied all the typography of my titles put his name in it, Hype Williams. When you never usually see a director's name in a music video, it was so weird that he was not only copying it, but adding his name into the credits over and over again. Whoa!" Then came the epilepsy backlash. Complaints poured in about the rapid flashing visuals triggering seizures. The video had to be re-edited. By that point, Hype's once unshakable brand had cracks all over it. Fast forward to 2022, he reappears with Tom Brady's golf campaign. Clean, minimalist, icy white visuals with Brady looking like a superhero. The old flair was still there, but it was a whole different vibe. Less explosive, more controlled. Maybe Hype had changed, or maybe he just found something more chill to focus on. But of course, the internet wasn't done. Conspiracy theories started spinning. Some online voices claimed Hype knew Aaliyah's plane was overloaded, that he intentionally took the safer jet that was supposed to be hers. Wild accusations. The truth? It's cloudy. Hype's silence only added fuel to the speculation. When someone known for epic visuals goes quiet, people start filling in the blanks, and that might be the last chapter of the Hype Williams mystery. He never defended himself, not once. He just stepped away. One of the most iconic music video directors ever. And he vanished into the background, only peeking out now and then. His IMDb says he hasn't directed a video since 2021. And before that, his workload was already thinning out, just a few projects scattered here and there. Way different from the early days when he was cranking out massive hits every single month and changing the whole visual game. And now, his Instagram tells a whole new story. No more backstage pics or superstar sets. These days it's packed with snowboarding clips. Vibes that feel way more personal than professional. Seems like Hype traded in the flashing lights and red carpets for snowy mountains and peace. The man who once gave us hip-hop's flashiest moments has found calm behind the camera in the cold. Maybe Hype's shift in content isn't just personal. It might be about survival in a game that's changed everything. Back in the 90s, labels would drop hundreds of thousands, even millions, on a single music video. And those videos, they ran nonstop on MTV, Betty, VH1, driving songs straight to the top of the charts. But now, it's a different beast. TikTok trends, playlist placements, and algorithm-driven clicks have taken over. Visuals ain't what they used to be. Half the hits on the charts don't even have music videos anymore. And if they do, it's usually just a lyric video or a short, chopped-up clip for social media. It's not about the spectacle, it's about speed. So while Hype's legacy was built on big-budget, mind-blowing visuals, the world has moved toward quick clips and trending sounds. And Hype? He's stuck walking this weird line, trying to stay relevant in an industry that no longer values what made him legendary, all while being haunted by the past. To this day, whenever he posts online, anything, he gets hit with a flood of angry comments. Fans still demand answers about Aaliyah's passing. The messages come hard, they come fast, some accuse, some plead, but all of them say the same thing. We haven't forgotten. The silence, it only makes things louder. The internet doesn't let things fade. Hype's refusal to speak has turned mystery into obsession. And when grief turns into fixation, it gets messy. And look, let's be real. Timberland, yeah, we're talking to you too. Some folks dealt with the loss by pointing fingers. Others just stayed stuck in the pain. But when you break down the facts, the tragedy was layered. The plane was too heavy. The pilot had substances in his system. Protocols got skipped. It was a disaster waiting to happen. And yet, Hype's name keeps getting dragged into the fire. Why? Because people need a target. They want someone to blame. It makes grief easier to hold. Facing the truth that sometimes bad things just happen is way harder than pointing fingers. Aaliyah didn't want to board that plane. That's a fact. But she also felt pressure. Pressure to be there. Pressure to show up. Pressure to keep the show moving. And if you've ever had a job, a dream, or a reputation to protect, you get that pressure. Maybe Hype's been grieving in his own way, behind the lens, away from the spotlight. Maybe that's the only way he knows how to cope with something so heavy, so deep that none of us can ever really understand. Grief has a cruel way of making us demand explanations, even when there aren't any. We try to fit pain into puzzles, thinking that if we solve it, we'll stop hurting. But not every tragedy makes sense. Some hearts are taken before the world knows how to protect them, and the ones left behind, they carry silence like a second skin. Hype might never tell us what really happened in those final moments before the crash. But here's what we do know. He's the one who filmed Aaliyah's final sunset. His camera caught her last living moments, and maybe that's why he stayed frozen in that light ever since. Locked in time, carrying something too big to say out loud. If this story moved you, drop a like, leave a comment, and share your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. We've got more stories to tell, and trust, it's only getting deeper from here. See you on the next one.